Welcome to Mirror Match, the show where we debate the most contentious issues in gaming from both sides of the spectrum. Correct, and today we are taking a little stab at the near unanimous Game of the Year for 2017, everyone's favorite, Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda. I say near unanimous, by the way, because I kind of think it's overrated. You are crazy. Wow, is that your argument? This is going to be easy. No counterpoints other than I'm crazy. No, I have some points. Basically, what I would say is that it's a great game because Breath of the Wild has uniformity of design. Everything feels like it was carefully chosen and curated to serve the whole. Sure. Is there any way to say that in less pretentious terms for simple people like me? Yeah, probably. I mean, everything in the game sort of flows together, like the way the physics systems interact with your powers and the way your powers interact with the physics. That all flows together nicely to create these really emergent gameplay moments. But it's not just the physics. It's like the art direction, the music, the sort of minimalism of it. I just find it works together so perfectly. Okay, well, I have a major bone to pick with that, and it's the first thing that I find no one ever talks about. The voice acting. I thought the voice acting was super weird and out of place, always kind of struck me as odd, and that totally broke the uniformity of design that you're so proud of. I don't know, I had no problem with it. I thought it was perfectly fine. You didn't really find it like super cringe and like kind of corny? I mean, corny. I don't know, corny. Like you level up your inventory by cashing in with a giant tuber who shakes maracas, so corny. Okay, well, forget the dialogue for a second. Let's move on to one of the biggest ones, the weapons, and the way the weapons work. They're pretty cool, aren't they? Yeah, until they frickin' break. Like, every single weapon in that game, even the most, like, awesome ancient stuff, is made out of, like, pipe cleaners and toothpicks and glue. It all just breaks apart. And what that does is it completely undermines how fun it is to explore and find the stuff, because you know you're not going to use it. Like, I ended up finishing the game with a huge stack of rare weapons in my inventory because I didn't want to use them. Okay, well, that kind of sounds like you were doing it wrong. I think the designers deliberately hamstrung the weapons like that to show you as a player that loot is not the point. They didn't want their game to be Diablo or Destiny, where the loot is the be-all, end-all of the game. Okay, so like the solution to that was just to break the system instead? No, it's not that they broke it, it's that they wanted to show you that loot is not the point. And as another thing, they wanted you to show that loot is actually not that important to you. Nothing in the game is really necessary to finish it. And I think that's a major theme of the game, where that you are what's important, not the stuff that you've accrued. To me, that just sounds like the developers taking away from the player the way that they could potentially want to play it. Oh my God, dictate the way you play. This is one of the most liberating open world games I've ever played, and you're complaining about the limitations that the designers have placed on you? I guess aside from the weapons, no, there's not a lot of restrictions because there is a staggering lack of features in the game. You can't do a lot of the things that you can normally do in open world games like this. You can't pick evil story options, you can't harm NPCs, you can't steal from people. All of these things that you would normally be able to do in a game of this genre has been taken away from you already. I personally see all of those complaints as just good polish in the game. The game's not bloated with crap like you find in Assassin's Creed or even games like The Witcher or something like that, which is admittedly very good. And on the flip side, they take the open world concept so seriously and they implement it so well. You can climb everything and go everywhere basically from the get-go once you beat the main part. Yeah, until you get to the divine beasts and then like you're locked into the story like you would anywhere else. Oh, come on, that's complete nitpicking. Okay, if you go back to those games that you like so much with more features in them, like your Grand Theft Autos, your Witchers, whatever, you're always doing story quests. That's part of it. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. Yes, there are other games. But now that I'm on the divine beasts, I've got another bone to pick with that. Dungeons. There are no real dungeons in the game. Okay, there's the shrines, which are totally cool, but they're just fun little distractions and they're not really satisfying. And then the divine beasts, again, cool concept, but they don't really feel like dungeons. And dungeons are like a key component to what a Zelda game is supposed to be. This just sounds to me like you're knocking the game for not catering to what you wanted it to be. Well, it's more that I'm just not happy that it's not really a Zelda game, because dungeons, for instance, are a huge part of the Zelda experience, like I just said. And then when you also factor in how items work in relation to the dungeons and how just the general progression of the story works, it just doesn't feel like a Zelda game anymore. Okay, so basically you're just proving my point here. You don't like it because it's not the game that you wanted it to be. You can't really call it overrated because of that. No, it's more that, like, okay, I call it overrated because when you compare it to, say, other open world games, it feels like half the features. And then when you compare it to other Zelda games, it feels like half the features. And the whole experience together is just kind of like, meh. I just don't understand what it's doing that's so special. Okay, well, for the big deal, I mean, rather than just repeat my argument about uniformity of design, I'll just say that it just feels right. Like the whole feeling of the game, which it comes back to the uniformity of design, just really clicks for me. And I find it, well, it definitely clicked for a lot of other people. Just look at all the awards it got. I guess I just don't get it then, because for me, I feel massively underwhelmed when I'm trying it. Okay, well, I think a lot of the hate that this game gets isn't because of the obvious flaws in the game. They just feel like there's overexposure in the media and the perfect scores just kind of tick people off. Is that accurate? I'm with you there. I just don't get the perfect scores and why everyone is so crazy about it. Like I've said, the game has major shortcomings. I've already listed them. And I just don't see why it stands out from the pack other than the fact that it's made by Nintendo. So what you're saying is you think it's getting a free pass because of the fanboys. Basically, yeah. Okay, well, can we agree to disagree? Do we ever? I guess not. Yep, and let us know in the comments what other things you'd like to see us debate. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.